You buy Happy Wrap. You ever wanted to design your very own gift wrapping paper? Now is your chance to do so. Whether it's for the holiday season, weddings, anniversaries, birthdays, no matter what the occasion calls for, you can use Happy Wrap to wrap your gifts. As a matter of fact, you can even design notebooks, greeting cards, gift tags, and so much more. You can sign up today at happy.thedlewpodcast.com and use the promo code DLEW to get your 10% discount at checkout. Again, that's happy.thedlewpodcast.com and use promo code DLEW to get your 10% discount at checkout. By Simpler Hair Color. Hey guys, are you tired of using that drugstore hair dye brand that isn't getting the job done? If you want to use a great product to cover those grays, have no fear, Simpler Hair Color is here. No mixing, no dripping, no mess. It's super easy to use, whether you're a beginner or a pro. Go to simpler.thedlewpodcast.com and use promo code DLEW10 for your 10% discount at checkout. Again, that's simpler.thedlewpodcast.com and use my promo code DLEW10 for your 10% discount at checkout. And by WWE Shop with Fanatics. Get your favorite WWE Superstars merchandise and wear them proud with superstars like the OTC Roman Reigns, Rhea Ripley, the Second City Saint CM Punk, John Cena, Main Event Jey Uso, the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes, and so many more. Oh, by the way, they got some really cool championship belts in there as well. So go to wrestling.thedlewpodcast.com. Again, that's wrestling.thedlewpodcast.com so you can go to WWE Shop with Fanatics. This podcast is a Believe Network and Siete production. Welcome to another edition of the D-Lew podcast powered by Believe Network. I'm your host, Derrick T. Lewis, and I hope your day and your week is absolutely fantastic as we're entering into the Memorial Day weekend, and I hope you all are going to spend it with your family and loved ones. You know, it's supposed to be rainy where I'm at right now, so we're going to do the absolute best that we can getting through it all. You know, this episode is going to be about previewing this weekend's Saturday night's main event and, of course, Sunday's AEW's Double or Nothing. But I do have some news that I want to go over with you guys so we can all get up to date. And I want to first and foremost congratulate Darby Allin on reaching the summit of Mount Everest. He had been preparing for this. He had said he had been wanting to do it. You know, I was a bit nervous because I just wasn't sure because, you know, you hear so many things about, you know, how unsuccessful people are in that endeavor, and he reached the top of it, 29,032 feet. Ladies and gentlemen, that is no small feat. And he actually got up there, took a picture, and planted that AEW flag. And AEW's owner, CEO, president, head of creative, Tony Khan, said this on a AEW Double or Nothing media call. He said, quote, Darby Allin is one of the greatest wrestlers in AEW, and we're proud of what he's accomplished. He did it. He successfully climbed Mount Everest. It was something that was a big goal of his. He went on this journey with, I think, two goals in mind. One of his goals he absolutely had to focus on as he ascended Mount Everest is this journey he was going on in becoming the first pro wrestler to ever climb Mount Everest and one of the first pro athletes. It's something he should celebrate, and it's absolutely incredible achievement. I love Darby Allin, and I think he's a great person. He's somebody who loves AEW, the fans love Darby, and he's a huge part of our locker room. I hope he'll come back here, and I hope he makes it down Mount Everest as safe as he made it up. I look forward to seeing him back here. Whenever Darby can make it back, we're excited to have him back. He's one of our top stars, and I look forward to seeing Darby again. So, again, we don't know when Darby will be back. You know, hopefully, you know, he makes it down safely, because, again, the descend, you know what I mean, it's pretty difficult as well. But my thoughts and my hopes and my prayers are with him that he makes it, him and his crew make it back safely, and he can get back to kicking ass at AEW. Also, in other news, WWE actually canceled the post NXT Battleground TV taping that's on the CW that was supposed to take place in Tampa, Florida. I'm just reading this off of a website here. It says WWE will not be hosting their post NXT Battleground 2025 episode of NXT on the CW from Tampa, Florida. WWE has a busy weekend lined up at the Yingling Center in Tampa, Florida, with several events scheduled at the venue. These events include Saturday night's main event, Battleground, and Monday Night Raw. To be honest with you, they were saying that only 1,700 tickets have been distributed. You know, Meanwhile, NXT Battleground has moved over 6,000 tickets. So I mean, I don't know how to put this. It's like you want to be able to satiate as many fans as you can, but I think having it at that venue for those many days in that one market, I think it's a bit overkill, in my opinion. So they are going to move it back to the PC, which is probably the best move for them to do. And there's nothing wrong with that. I prefer it to be back at the PC anyway. You figure they already, have a large crowd at the England Center anyway. So it doesn't make a difference if they did it at the England Center or at the PC. They're going to get TV done. That's all that really matters. So good luck to everyone at NXT for an incredible weekend for Battleground. And the news that just came out today that shocked a lot of people, including myself, yours truly. WrestleNomics, shout out to those guys, but they said WrestleMania is no longer set for New Orleans. And this, I'll read the news clipping here. It says, despite an announcement earlier this year, WrestleMania will not take place in New Orleans in 2026, according to a statement provided Thursday by WrestleNomics. The statement provided by the Greater New Orleans Sports Foundation indicates the event is being rescheduled to a later, unspecified year. New Orleans was announced that the 2026 host city in February during a segment of SmackDown featuring Dwayne The Rock Johnson revealing the location. After this article was published, NOLA.com reported that Las Vegas will be the host site for WrestleMania 42 next year for a second consecutive year. The Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority, which played a key role in bringing the 2025 event to the city, didn't immediately respond to our message seeking confirmation. Rather than WrestleMania, WWE's Money in the Bank Premium Live event will be held in New Orleans in 2026. That news follows the recently announced UFC 318 card set for July 19, 2025 at the Smoothie King Center in the city. The events are a part of the broader multi-year agreement being negotiated between local organizers and WWE and UFC's parent company, TKO Group Holdings. I have my feelings on this matter, ladies and gentlemen. Um, Now, this will be the first time since 1989 where WrestleMania went back to back in the same city. For those that know and don't know, WrestleMania 4 and 5 was held in Atlantic City, New Jersey at the Boardwalk Hall. I refuse to call it what it was called before for obvious reasons, but nonetheless, it was at that arena. You figure WrestleMania 4 was of course, the WWE Championship Tournament. And of course, WrestleMania 5 was the Mega Powers Explode as the Red and Yellow Man challenged the Macho Man Randy Savage for the WWE Championship. Um, I know that WWE and TKO made record margin in regards to the money that they made for Mania week when they were in Las Vegas just last month. But those tickets were astronomically expensive. I mean, the nosebleeds, when I went to check it out, when the tickets first went on sale because it was doing the two day combo, they were $1,000 for both days. In the nosebleeds. That is ridiculous. I mean, they had 60,000, I think 61,000 respectively for both nights. And again, huge turnout. Allegiant Stadium is a little bit of a smaller stadium than some of the others around the NFL. But nonetheless, they were able to make up the difference in the amount of money that they were charging for tickets. Not to mention some of the experiences that they were having with the $25,000 plate dinner with John Cena, which I thought was crazy in itself. I know to have I think some type of meet and greet with Lex Luger and Triple H. I think it was like $8,500. I know they were trying to do something with the Red and Yellow Man with his Real American beer. That was about 8 grand. I don't think it sold as much, thus why they canceled it. But if you're TKO and obviously with the UFC, being in Las Vegas, that's where their main hub is, and they have a lot of their events in Las Vegas. I guess in their mind, they're saying, well, hell, if we can make all this money, this year, let's try it again next year. I know, and Gabby was on the show. She shout out to Gabby. She's off this week. She was even saying how it was exhausting being there in Vegas and getting around the strip and all those other things. It is not a cheap endeavor, ladies and gentlemen. To even for non WrestleMania, if you just go on a vacation to Las Vegas, that is a no small feat in regards to the amount of money that you have to spend. You have to be extremely strategic to spend a few days out in Vegas to not spend as much money. Hell, I've done it. I've been out there twice, and it's just like, damn, it's just crazy. A cup of coffee at the hotel, a small cup of coffee was $7. That can give you a small indication of how expensive it is to be out in Las Vegas if you're going to spend a couple days out there. So, I don't know. We'll see. As again, WWE hasn't made any announcement publicly about this, but there's a lot of confirmation that WrestleMania 42 will not be in New Orleans. There are a lot of upset fans, people that are in media. They have a right to be upset. Everyone were booking hotels in New Orleans. I was searching for hotels in New Orleans just to kind of get an idea on what the temperature was like and how the hotels are moving. There were a lot of hotels that were sold out for the week of WrestleMania 42 next year. Now they're going to have to get back all these refunds, because keep in mind, guys, that when WrestleMania or any type of event, I don't care if it's the Super Bowl, if it's the Olympics, if it's whatever it is, the Final Four, that city is banking on so much money being brought into the city. A lot of revenue being brought in when you talk about hotels, restaurants, all types of places where people can go and spend money. That's what you want to do. And it's been known that WWE brings anywhere from 100 to 150 million dollars in revenue alone to the towns. I can't even imagine how much it is now with inflation, but we'll see. Like I said, we'll wait to see what WWE does, in the coming days or the coming weeks. I'm sure after this weekend is concerned, and they could talk about what's going to be for WrestleMania 42. My guess, and this is just my opinion, I'm thinking it's going to be Indianapolis. That's just my opinion, because if you guys didn't know, WWE signed a 3-event deal with the city of Indianapolis to have 3 events at Lucas Oil Stadium. The Royal Rumble that took place this past February 1st, all right, WrestleMania and SummerSlam. I wouldn't be shocked if they go to Indianapolis. Now, Indianapolis would be a more reasonably priced venture for people to go and have a good time. So again, we'll see about that. We'll tie the boat on that. But I want to talk about this weekend's Saturday night's main event that's taking place again at the England Center in Tampa, Florida. There's only 4 matches, of course, signed for this event because, again, it's only a 2-hour show. And it's a lot of high marquee matches, and I'll get to them right now. We have a steel cage match with Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre. And like I said before, this feud has been going on since last year at WrestleMania, and they've been a thorn in each other's side. Obviously, the most recent pay-per-view that just took place with Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre, beating the living hell out of each other, during a United States Championship match. And what do? They eliminate each other out of the match by Damian Priest doing the South of Heaven chokeslam onto Drew McIntyre onto a table. So, and again, a thorn in each other's side. So, how do you solve a feud? How do you come to the conclusion of a feud? You do it in a steel cage match. Now, I'm picking Drew McIntyre to win this and all of a sudden now propel himself in some type of title contention, maybe for the World Heavyweight Championship. We'll see. And obviously, we'll get to that match in a second as far as the winner of that match as well. We have a singles match between the undisputed WWE Champion John Cena against R-Truth. Now, initially, when this match was first signed, I was under the impression that it was going to be a title match. And I'm thinking, oh, maybe they might pull a swerve on this and have Truth win the title. But I think I could totally see R-Truth winning this match by a count out or disqualification. I don't think Cena's going to have his shoulders pinned to the mat, to be honest. I just can't see it happening on live TV. But to give Truth that win, especially I think a count out win will probably be best because if it's a disqualification, that means John Cena's beating him down or whatever the case may be. But if they can get a count out win for R-Truth, I'll be happy about that. But man, oh man, can you imagine if he does pin John Cena and what that could mean in the near future and probably another rematch and that type of thing. And again, we'll see. We'll see about that. We have a tag team match, with CM Punk and Sami Zayn going up against the new Heyman guys, Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker. This past Monday on Raw, and obviously you had Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker, giving someone a beat down, and all of a sudden Sami Zayn comes out. And then all of a sudden CM Punk comes out, and kudos to the crowd singing Cult of Personality even after the music actually stopped playing. And they're, going to fisticuffs with each other. And of course the baby faces are standing. Now, I totally see Sami Zayn turning on CM Punk. I could totally see where Seth Rollins probably got to him and saying, "Hey man, this guy, we don't want this guy here. You were the main event of WrestleMania 2 years ago. You won the Intercontinental Championship last year at WrestleMania, beating Gunther for a historic run. And CM Punk is now stealing the shine from everybody else." So I could totally see Sami Zayn being that third man, joining this new faction with Heyman, Seth Rollins, and Braun Breaker. And I think Punk is going to, Punk, obviously, by him turning on Punk, Punk gets pinned and thus start this whole new version of this faction. It's only been maybe about a month and a half old since WrestleMania, obviously. So we'll see. I could be wrong, but we shall see. And the main event of Saturday night's main event is for the World Heavyweight Championship, Jey Uso against Logan Paul. Now, Logan Paul has a lot of haters for a lot of reasons. There are things that he did, many, many years ago, him and his brother, that people still won't forgive him for. You can Google it for yourself. I'm not going to talk about it on this platform because it doesn't deserve the attention. But nonetheless, he's getting heat. You know what I mean? He's getting the right type of heat where, because, sometimes a lot of heels want to get cheered. But hey, if you're he has natural heat just by him being who he is, arrogant, cocky, and all those things. So of course it's gonna draw people to the TV to want to see him get beat up. And Jey Uso, who was so beloved by so many, it's definitely the perfect match. Now, there are some people out there thinking that because of Logan Paul's notoriety, his following, especially YouTube and social media and everything, that they might put the world title on him. I could see it happening. Do I want it to happen? No. But I'm picking my man Jey Uso to retain the World's Heavyweight Championship. And because again, to me, it's like you go through all of this with Gunther just to lose it a month and a half later. I just can't see it happening. And that will tie the bow on Saturday night's main event. And I'm looking forward to seeing, some action this Saturday night on NBC and Peacock. And we're gonna talk about AEW's Double or Nothing that's taking place this Sunday in Phoenix, Arizona, and at the Desert Diamond Arena. And this is the first Double or Nothing that will not be taking place in Las Vegas, which is quite funny because I think it was Gabby that told me earlier that someone said on social media if WWE does indeed go back to Vegas, that should be Double or Nothing. I just thought that was hilarious. But again, they actually moved it to Phoenix, and I think it's nice to switch it up every once in a while. But I'm just going to go through the matches, give my opinions of who I think is going to win. The first match I see is the finals for the Owen Hart Foundation Cup tournament. And of course, the winner earns AEW Women's World Championship match at Allin in Texas with Jamie Hayter and the TBS champion Mercedes Moné. Again, these two are two of the best women's wrestlers in the entire world. Mercedes Moné is just taking it to the next level, since she's been at AEW. Now, the obvious is the match that everyone's been wanting to see is Mercedes Moné and the AEW Women's World Champion Timeless Toni Storm. And AEW, and I give them credit for this. They did an incredible job keeping these two away from each other. They really did. Both dominant champions doing their thing in the ring, and it kept everyone guessing, oh, are they going to wrestle? When are they going to wrestle? You know what I mean? Will Mercedes Moné put up that TBS title along with Toni Storm's AEW Women's World Championship, for the a winner take all type of situation. But again, I think Mercedes is going to win this match, and I think this is going to set up a huge marquee matchup at AEW's Allin in Texas. So stay tuned for that one. The next match I see is for the AEW World Tag Team Championships, where the champions, the Hurt Syndicate, Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin with MVP, taking on the Sons of Texas, the current Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions, Dustin Rhodes and Sammy Guevara. Let me just say, Dustin Rhodes cut an incredible promo last night, as I'm taping this on a Thursday, ladies and gentlemen, because AEW tends to add on matches right before their pay-per-views. So I wanted to give it an extra day, so I can say, okay, if there's any other added matches onto the card. But I watched it, and he cut a really passionate promo. And it's like Dustin is like the time he should be called timeless, because I mean Dustin is getting better and better. He's in his mid 50s and is wrestling like he's 25 years old. So, but again, I don't see right now the Hurt Syndicate dropping the titles anytime soon. I mean, I think they want to have a nice lengthy run. The match should be top quality, but I am picking the Hurt Syndicate to retain the AEW World Tag Team Championships. The next match we have for the AEW Women's World Title, Timeless Toni Storm with Luther taking on Mina Shirakawa, and I kind of gave away my pick, for this match. I mean, again, we're talking about two incredible workers, in Timeless Toni Storm and Mina, and with I think with this type of match, I mean, it might be a little gaga in the match, a little comedy and that type of stuff, but to really set the table for All in Texas, I want to see Toni Storm holding up the championship, and all of a sudden you hear that CEO, CEO, that song hitting. Mercedes makes her way down the aisle, and that's the promo shot you need. I don't think a promo even has to be said. We all know what it is. Come July, it's going to be something. And I think that match, I mean, you know what though? I wouldn't be shocked. And I hope that Tony Khan does something different and have the women main event All in Texas. Toni Storm and Mercedes Moné. Why not? I challenge Tony Khan to do that. I challenge him. Put the women on last and see what happens. Let's see, and they'll prove it to you. We'll see. All right, so we have a tag team match with FTR, Cash Wheeler, and Dax Harwood, along with Stokely, taking on Daniel Garcia and Nigel McGuinness. Now, for those that remember at AEW Dynasty, in which I was in attendance, I was covering the event on behalf of this amazing podcast with Believe Network. FTR turned on the Rated R superstar Cope, and they now have Stokely Hathaway with them now, and they're going on their villain run, their heel run, rightfully so, because I think they did get a little stale, and I think they needed to freshen up the look a little bit, freshen up the presentation, and I don't mind that at all. But what I could see happening, because they're going to win the match, I could totally see them winning the match, and at the end of the match, we could see a tag team that we haven't seen in a very, very long time confront FTR. And I'm talking about the Rated R superstar Cope and his former tag team partner, Christian Cage. I can only see it happening for a one night only type situation at All In. let's get the band back together one more night because we all know that Christian Cage is a very is not a nice person, on camera. So I'm thinking that might be the case where they can just team up for a cause of just saying, hey, nobody can, I can mess with it, but nobody else can. So I could see that happening at the end of the match. But FTR is winning the match, in this tag team match against Daniel Garcia and Nigel McGuinness. A stretcher match that's coming up between Ricochet and Mark Briscoe. Now, I can only imagine in a stretcher match, I don't think there are any rules. I mean, I would imagine the object of the match is to beat your opponent senseless and put them on the stretcher and have them carried out. I would have preferred an ambulance match. It takes me back to Shane McMahon and Kane back in Survivor Series 2003, I believe. I would have liked that match better because it means more. I think if you could throw your opponent in an already waiting ambulance and just shut the door. I love it. I love it. But no, I'm torn on this match for a lot of reasons because I don't know what they're planning on doing with Mark Briscoe in the long term regarding, a championship here or a championship there. I don't know. But Ricochet has been money. I'm not going to lie to you. In the last maybe 4 to 5 months since he's been a heel, he's really embracing this side of his personality because, what was the old adage? Oh, he can't cut a promo or he's really bad on the microphone or all these other things. And he's literally throwing it in all the naysayers, all the doubters. He's now throwing it in their face, and I like it. I like it. And Ricochet, again, Ricochet is one of the best workers they have in AEW, and he's finding his niche. And I also said, too, a couple of episodes ago, sometimes you're just in the wrong company. And I'm not saying his WWE run was bad, but I just didn't think he was utilized to his full potential. He was only pigeonholed to a certain extent because of what he does with the high flying and everything, instead of actually telling stories. Now he's in there telling stories. He's an obnoxious character and he wants to get on everyone's nerves and he's doing a damn good job at it. But I am picking Ricochet to win this match and see what happens, in regards to any type of championship aspirations. And we'll see. And we'll see about that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have the Anarchy in the Arena match. And this is going to be utter chaos. If you've ever seen an Anarchy in an arena match, I don't know what you've been missing, but I've seen a few, and they have been nothing short of entertaining and just full chaotic. We have the Ops, Samoa Joe, Powerhouse Hobbs, and Shibata, Willow Nightingale, Swerve Strickland, and Kenny Omega taking on the Death Riders, which includes Jon Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, Marina Shafir, and Wheeler Yuta, and the Young Bucks, Matthew and Nicholas Jackson. First of all, that's a lot of people. That is a lot of people in one match. So having this match, I can only imagine it's going to happen all over the arena. There's going to be fighting all over the arena. There's going to be blood. There's going to be chairs. There's going to be tables. There's going to be all types of weapons, probably including the kitchen sink. Including the kitchen sink. Homage to the Street Fighter WrestleMania 13 with the Nation of Domination against the Road Warriors and Ahmed Johnson. I think it was Ahmed Johnson that actually brought the kitchen sink to the ring. But this match, like I said, is going to do what it's supposed to do. Like I said, entertain and be very violent. And to be honest with you, I would love to see the women shine in this match because there has never been a woman in an Anarchy in the Arena match. So the fact that the recently re-signed Willow Nightingale, by the way, congratulations, Willow. You deserve all of the good that's in the world. You're one of my favorite people in the business. It was an honor to work with you so many years ago, and to see where you are now is incredible. But to see the women involved, it's great, and I would love to see Willow pin Marina to get the victory for the babyfaces. I would love to see that happen in this Anarchy in the Arena match. The next match I have here is the AEW Continental Championship with Mr. Okada, the champion, taking on Speedball Mike Bailey. First off, if you have never seen a Speedball Mike Bailey match, I urge you to go on YouTube and check it out. This dude has feet like lightning. He is so good, so swift in that ring. And I think it's a nice clash of styles because Okada isn't necessarily a high flyer. He's more the grappler, mat type of guy. So you have the high flyer versus the mat guy, and I think this can really make magic. I don't see Okada dropping the belt. I don't see it happening because, Kenny Omega right now is the international champion right now. And as I said before when I was doing the AEW Dynasty post show, the recap show rather, I was saying that I felt if they were going to unify the international title and the continental title, it needs to happen at All in Texas with Okada and Omega. Now, keep in mind of this: when Omega won the triple threat match with Mike Bailey and Ricochet, Okada was the one that came down to the ring to confront Omega. I would like to see Omega come down to the ring to confront Okada to set the table for All In. I believe that this match, this pay-per-view is all setting up for All In. It's setting up for All In, and I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to seeing how everything develops. And the last match that they have on the card right now is the finals of the 2025 Men's Owen Hart Foundation Cup tournament, where the winner will earn an AEW World Championship match at All In between Hangman Adam Page and Will Ospreay. Last night on Dynamite, that was an incredible promo by both of them. And Ospreay was talking about how he wants to win this tournament, how he wants to win. But then Hangman flipped it on him and said how he needs to win this tournament to earn that championship match. And we all know that Hangman was one of the pillars of AEW when it first began 6 years ago. He was in the inaugural championship match between him and Chris Jericho to determine the very first AEW World Champion. A lot of AEW hardcores were wanting Hangman Adam Page to win. And the only reason why I was saying I wanted Jericho to win because A, Jericho is a household name and he will get some eyes on the product. That was the only reason why I said, and I agreed with Tony Khan with that decision. I wouldn't fight him on that because when you already have a known commodity that has at that time over 25 or 30 years in the business of equity, who has been there and done it all, main event of WrestleMania, has been all over the world, wrestled in Mexico, Japan, Europe before even before going to ECW, then WCW and WWE. And, it made sense for him to put the championship on Chris Jericho. But now, I believe, and this is just me, I think that Hangman Adam Page will win the Owen and is going to face Jon Moxley at All In. Now, I said that for this regard. At All In, when Hangman Adam Page faces Jon Moxley for the title, I still believe that Moxley is going to retain the championship because I believe, this is just me, I was just talking about him earlier, after coming down from Mount Everest will be the triumphant return of Darby Allin. And I believe he's going to be the one that's going to dethrone Jon Moxley at All In, which is taking place this year in late September in Toronto, Canada. It was just announced that All In will not, I'm sorry, All Out, I'm sorry, All Out. What am I doing? It's late, guys. But All Out will be in Toronto, Canada at the Air Canada Center. So at the Scotiabank Arena, I'm sorry. These arenas and them changing names, I'm sorry. It is what it is. But anyways, I believe that Darby Allin is going to return it All In and then set the table for All Out. Well, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, I hope you all enjoyed the show today. I'm flying solo again this week, but if you haven't done so already, make sure you subscribe to the D-Lew podcast on all platforms: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Amazon Music, you name it. Make sure that, I can't forget about the YouTube channel, right? look up Derrick T. Lewis, the D-Lew podcast, or the real DT Lew. And when you see the subscribe, when you see the bell, make sure you hit all so you get all new content on YouTube whenever it is available to you. You can follow the D-Lew podcast on all social media platforms at the D-Lew podcast. Of course, you can follow me on social media at the real DT Lew. Hit up the merch store on prowrestlingtees.com, okay? I have a pro wrestling tees store for all wrestling merchandise at pwt.derricklewis.com. And of course, you can hit up the Derrick T. Lewis official merchandise store where you can get that Nike merch over at shop.derricklewis.com. But again, like I said at the beginning of the show, I hope you all have an incredible Memorial Day weekend. Enjoy with your families. Be out, be safe out there. And as I always say, no matter what it is you do in life, always remember to make it count. See you next time.